this idea like, oh, all this stuff is now a tax write-off. I have all these tax write-offs, right?
Right.
And I remember, I'll never forget the first time taking my stuff to an accountant and saying, hey, I need to get my taxes done, because I'd always done it on TurboTax myself with my W-2s, right? And then I go in and I give her all my stuff, and I had saved, I think, like 10 grand for taxes.
She's like, by the way, take that times 5.
Yeah, she came back. And because I didn't have an S-Corp set up, I didn't know anything.
Oh gosh, yeah.
So she says, okay, so like very casually, so here's your taxes, here's what you owe. And I look, and it was like $45,000. And I was like sick to my stomach. I'm like, what? I'm like, what about tax write-offs? What about my kids? Like, what about this? I don't really get a tax return. She's like, yeah, but you made money and you didn't pay any taxes in. Anyway, I remember that was my first like, holy crap moment.
Yeah.
And kind of like, how come nobody told me this? And then one of my mentors in the business is like, oh yeah, I owe the government like $350,000.
Whoa.
Send you my girl who helps me with payments and all that. And I was like, what? And this was somebody who was making 6 figures a month, and she was behind in taxes. So it's like, there was not any education. There was not even an example of somebody in my circle doing it right.
Yeah. Wow.
And I'm just like, and it wasn't just the taxes, right? I think I also was modeled like, because our income we were in a momentum phase in the company I was in. I kind of got in at the right time. And so it's like going like this. And so I'm like, oh, every year I'm going to make more money, right? So what happens, Mindy, when your income keeps going up?
You just keep spending more. You keep up with your income. Like, here, tip number 1, don't do that.
Yeah, exactly. I just $600 car payment, sure, add that on there, and just kept adding and adding, and then the incomes shifted.
The pendulum swung, as we like to say. That pendulum swung back, did it? Yeah,
it did. Yeah. It did. Have you ever had that happen in business, Mindy?
Always, babe. And you know what's crazy? And again, as we journey, I'm so sorry, I have a flyaway that is literally in my peripheral. Anyway, as we continue on this journey, I think that, we, again, without the mentorship and without, especially what you guys are teaching right now. And I love that you give, especially the network marketing folks, the opportunity to learn, because when we know better, we do better.
Yes.
But to understand that in business, these things are cyclical, right? You have seasons of momentum where that pendulum swings and that wave is there, and you catch that wave and you ride that sucker as far and as long as you can, right? Momentum's a great thing, but understanding that wave breaks and that the waters smooth out again for a while. And it sometimes takes a while before that next wave comes. So you have got to be smart and proactive, with your finances. And again, on the tax side of things, understanding what the S-Corp is, the LLC designation. The biggest, I will just say this, I think the best decision that I made ever was hiring a bookkeeper and accountant right out of the gates.
Yes.
Finding somebody that I'm like, I don't do well with this part. Can you just take it and like, let me know if you have questions? And she's been a godsend for me, because she helped me set up my S-Corp LLC designation, start paying myself, start paying my daughter. So anyway, not to get into all of that, but
yeah. No, there's so many ways that, you need the professionals, right? The bottom line is we get in, and if you're in network marketing, and I think it's twofold. Like if you're in network marketing, direct sales, social selling, whatever you want to call it, affiliate marketing, digital marketing. If you have a business, if you're a solopreneur and you have like kind of this uncapped income potential, I think, to set yourself up for more abundance and more growth in the future, you should get that financial team in place. Yeah. And if you're already there, getting that financial team in place, like on both ends of it, and whether you're at the beginning or you're like dead in the middle of it, I think it's important, because when you have that team set up, and I think that it needs to include, like you said, a bookkeeper that does the day-to-day. Yep. You need an accountant that does your taxes, or a tax strategist, right, to help you with your taxes. And then a financial coach or planner And that's what John and I do, to say, okay, where can you put the money to, because one thing we don't think about as network marketers, right? Typically coming from the corporate world, you got the 401k set up. You think you're good. You're like, oh yeah, I got my little investments or whatever. Which, you know,
I was like, that's a whole nother conversation.
That's a whole other conversation.
Yeah,
exactly. But as network marketers, right, we don't have anyone like putting money away in a retirement. And I had that mentality of, oh, this is my retirement plan, right? Like I'm going to build residual income that's going to pay me the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And I remember a couple of financial advisors kind of laughing at me. And then now, in the position I'm in now, and having seen how the ebbs and flows and kind of the financial trouble I got myself into, I'm like, okay, there is a better way. And that's how I even got involved in working with John, is because he did a financial plan for me and opened my eyes to, oh, I can take this money from my business each month, put it over here in a non-traditional retirement. We call it a wealth account because you can access it before retirement. This non-traditional account. And I can watch my money grow. I can borrow from it if I need to. But then in my retirement years, right, whatever that looks like, I get to pull from that account tax-free.
Yeah.
And have, I mean, lifetime income. I mean, we have things we set up as lifetime income. And it's stuff that I had no idea. So having those people in place is so important. And I think too, the distinction, and I'll have you talk to this a little bit, the distinction between your paycheck, right? Like what the company gives you. Yeah. And your income. Was there a time that you treated that the same that you don't now?
Oh, very much so. Again, so many lessons learned, you know, and you know, what's interesting too, just this shift over the last several years, just coming to, I guess, an agreement in my life, like success is different for everyone. Yeah. This is one of my favorite quotes. Og Mandino, the greatest salesman in the world. That book rocked my world and changed my life. He says, success is different. Oh my gosh.
It sits right next to me every day.
Yeah. Right. Success is different for everyone, but failure is the same. Failure is man's inability to reach his goals, whatever that may be. And so I've redefined success in my life. Where, you know, hitting ranks and making all this money and whatever, you know, I'm not fancy. I live in North Dakota. I drive a Honda. Okay. I don't really care. I'm not materialistic really, and teach their own. What if that floats your boat? Good for you. But like success to me is very low stress. It's me getting to kind of do what I want during the day when I want and hang out with a dog, you know, like that's kind of my best little buddy over here. And, make my kids whatever they want for breakfast in the morning, because I'm not rushing out the door to have to get to work, or, you know, having to hustle and grind. And like that has shifted so much for me. And so back to your point about the income piece, regardless of, and I'm in a rebuilding phase right now. So I'm building again. But if God's favors on this business and I start pulling in, you know, 5 figures a month again, like I was, I'm still going to live off of half of that. I'm still going to live off of my, you know, my paycheck, so to say, and be very mindful of those dollars, because I understand that, you know, when you're good with little, he blesses you with much.